Hello and welcome to Tiercast 39. My name is Heri Johansson and I am talking to you from Tórshavn, where my studio is here in the Faroe Islands.
And hello, I'm Gunnar, the bass player in here, and I'm speaking from my basement, the dungeon.
And I am Hans, and I am talking to you from my studio here in wonderful Odense, Denmark. Denmark is a part of the Faroe Islands, they belong to our kingdom.
Exactly. And I'm Ted, I'm the drummer. I'm talking to you from a small village called Kishorosi, also on an island which hopefully will belong to the Faroe Islands sooner or later.
Soon! This is only the second episode of our 6th season. We put these thingies on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Buzzsprout. You can get early access to this and some other spiffy material on patreon.com/cheerband. And we are here today to talk about the anniversary of our latest album, Battle Ballads. We're recording this a few days in advance, but on the release day of this episode will be precisely 1 year since we released the album. And
Already?
it was great. It was great to release an album. It's been going pretty well. And I can mention, for example, that we have 2,761,094 streams on Spotify. And we're getting another 100,000 per month or so. And the most popular songs have been Dragons Never Die, Hammered, and Axis, as we knew they would be, because we made a pre-release poll with around 30 of our friends and acquaintances and asked them what they thought were the best songs. And we're currently running a poll on our Facebook group, The Great Heathen Army of Tyr, where we have 4,000 votes at the moment. And these songs from the new album stack up precisely as that. Dragons Never Die, Hammered, and Axis. If you're not in the Great Heathen Army of Tyr, you should head over there right now and join the voting and many other shenanigans that go on there.
It's been growing rapidly the past few months, right?
Yeah.
The Facebook group?
Great. Yes?
Yes, it has. It has. We have 10,400 members at the moment. And there's only a limited amount of space on the internet, as everyone knows. No, there's unlimited. So cram in there. The more the merrier. Looking back a year, you kind of get a different picture of the album, and I think this album was much better, for example, than the second last one. Better arranged, better prepared, better organized, and it has also been considerably more successful with the audience. What do you guys think?
Do you remember about the 1 year statistics of Hell, maybe, by any chance?
I don't know. That would be relatively easy to look up, but I have a very clunky setting in front of me at the moment, so I don't feel confident to fiddle with anything here.
Sure,
we might lose connection again.
I
don't, but I'm pretty sure they might have been lower. But the thing is, Hell was a much longer album, so fewer streams would have gotten more counts simply because there were more songs on the album.
I thought Hell was an awesome album.
Me too.
Yeah.
Actually, I just listened to it the other day, and I have to say I like it. I mean, of course, there are some parts of some songs which are too long. You know, we could have cut them here and there, but overall, I have to say I still like it. I mean, of course, for me, it was the first album I did with you guys, but and therefore it's kind of meaningful for me still. But apart from that, also.
Yeah. There were some guitarists that went a little bit crazy on solos, but apart from that, it was a really good album. So
yeah. Hans, do you agree?
No, I don't have really a comment on it. I haven't listened to it that much.
I was putting it on our YouTube page a few weeks ago, and I listened to it in the full length, and I found it a slightly confused album at some points. Some solos were too long, there's no doubt about that. Some songs were too long, and when you have that many songs, well, we had a lot of time, but I was busy with other things in the meantime, so that's no excuse. But you have to pay more attention to the construction of each individual song. There were songs that I thought we could have gotten more out of,
definitely
arranged more. Simply a better arrangement. So a bit of a rush there to get some of it done, unfortunately, and I think I'm afraid it. At least when I listen to it now, I think it shows on some of the songs, and therefore for me now the general impression when I listen to Hill is it's a bit too confused. But I think we had sound ideas, and we got something out of it.
Oh yeah,
there are very good ideas on there, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I kind of panicked for a second in the studio when I recorded the last song, which was also the last on the album, Our Conquer, because I did not learn the final version. I had a different version, and therefore, and which was completely different. The first 1.5 minutes was the same, and then what came after, that was like, I think here you said, "Oh, no, that's an old version. We canned that weeks ago. Didn't you get the new version?" And I was like, "No." So what?
Classic.
But it was very, very cool that you had the Guitar Pro file of that song. So I just put it on. I took my laptop and put it in the studio. So I was watching at the sheet music of the song and was playing and improvising along in the studio. So that was the first. But
it went extremely well, all things considered.
Yeah,
very well.
Like a pro. I understand it was stressful, but that was a part of the disorganization on my part.
No, but it was fun. It was an adventure to record.
It certainly was.
I really liked it.
The drums for the latest album, Battle Ballads, were recorded long in advance and under much more relaxing circumstances.
Yeah, went to Prague. True. We did that in Prague.
Yeah. Some hours outside Prague, but close.
Outside Prague.
Close to it. That was a completely different experience, and I thought by then we were pretty much more on top of the material than we were when we recorded the drums for Hill.
Definitely, yes. I have to agree.
And I think on this, as we sag into the newer record, I think we're going to be even more on top of the game now. So,
for the next one again?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
a bit less stress, fewer disturbances, and better circumstances for working. One of my absolute favorite things on the entire album, Battle Ballads, is Hans' solo in Hammered. It might just be the best solo ever made by any Faroese band ever.
Strong words.
I agree. No.
It's
I actually,
pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I actually like the one in Unwandered Ways more. It
You
has
do?
that. It has that kind of drive, like the rock and roll kind of like Guns N' Roses or
Oh yeah, especially with that start, how it arrives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. It's a pretty good one. It had slipped my mind for a moment. The reason the one in Hammered is so prevalent in my mind is that we play it every show, and I just stand there in awe listening at it. And go, God damn, that's a good guitar player.
while I make mistakes and play out of tune.
Yeah, I just turn you off and listen to the backtrack.
Sounded.
I would just call that jazz, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mistakes happen every evening. No one expects it to be perfect, but no, you do it pretty well. Yeah, we're obviously not Guns N' Roses, and our music has a different style, but there's some room for that kind of more rock and rolly feeling, and the one you play in Unwandered Ways is definitely good. I don't know. I just prefer the style in Hammered.
I think the solos are so much different than normal, which I like very. It's a different approach to a solo, so I like it very much.
It's always nice with the melody in the solo, like Hammered has.
Now you're talking my language.
Exactly. It's they all have their own story. It's not just about being a solo, like showing off on the guitar, but a story within the story, so to say.
Yeah.
Just like Slash.
Yeah.
Now his solos definitely are stories. Beautiful,
true.
Beautiful stories.
And on that note, I got nothing.
I thought the song Battle Ballad would be more popular, but it turns out no one wants to hear it. It's very difficult to predict in advance, or even at all, which songs are going to be popular, I think. At least I've not been good at it, which is why we use these polls to decide for us, because those tend to hit, those are reliable. My opinion is not.
I was hoping for Row.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I love that song. And the last one.
Yeah, me too. Usually those songs I like, I know we're not gonna play ever because they're usually a little bit weird or not really the party songs or even
we might play them at some point.
Yeah.
If we do a really big headliner tour, we might just each pick a song that we would really like to play and just not care what people think for those, say, 3 or 4 songs, and just for ourselves. But mostly when we play these 1-hour gigs and shorter, we play what people vote for and nothing else. But I'm hoping for the future.
Yeah,
I actually think Row is fucking masterpiece, especially the lyrics. Fucking awesome. I love that while they're about a specific thing, they're written kind of so they're open for interpretation. It's fucking beautiful. I almost get emotional when hearing that chorus.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. I have moved the hammer.
Yes. Almost, I said.
Almost. Oh! I got ahead of myself there. Or Thaddeus and I.
No, it's good.
We wrote it together, Thaddeus and I, and we had the subject long in advance. It's just getting the words down took us about a day or less, half a day.
less. Yeah. I think we hit it out of the park in one or two sessions. So
Yeah.
You get much more out of everything when you meet up one evening and go through stuff.
Absolutely.
Just being here, I went through the new album stuff here, and it didn't take long to get an overview of what we have. So
Yeah.
We should meet more often.
Yeah.
Yes, we definitely should.
One thing that goes faster when you're together is making decisions and deciding on directions. Because when I sit alone with it, I'm second guessing myself all the time. Is this the right way? Is this correct? Should I do this? Should I do that? And you have 100 options in front of you all the time. Just having another person in the room to give an opinion or it helps. It clears, unclutters one's own mind. I think, and everything, all work goes faster, and is more productive.
We actually saw that on. We were struggling when we made the Hill album, and I remember me and Here we met almost every day on the studio we had there, and things when we started we got everything together very, very fast. So two heads are better than one. That was actually quite nice. Yeah. So
I miss that place. I'm not complaining. This place is nice. Let's do a bit more of that. Yes. What's our count now? All right. There's not that much more to say about that than unless you have more thoughts about the album.
Well, you could mention that we went on tours with the album, you know.
Yeah, we could mention that. You want to mention that, Gunnar?
Yeah.
We went on tours with it.
We went on tours with it. That was about it. So that was fast. Hey, easy. Anything else you want to know?
three tours.
Yeah, we did.
2 in America, 1 in Europe.
We have done 2 American tours with that album, so that's quite good, actually.
More than usual.
Yeah, because usually we do a support tour and 1 main tour, but we did 2 main tours. So
yeah,
not so shabby.
Not too shabby. Hoping for a support tour in America soon.
Yeah.
But those are difficult to plan because they rely on many external factors. Possibly a second European tour coming up as well, but no definite news on that front yet. But what we do know is that on the 28th of June, we're playing at Voxbot in Tórshavn, one of my favorite festivals. And on the 2nd of July, we play at Rockhards in Ballenstedt, Germany. On the 6th of July, we play at the Pirate Metal Party in Helmond in the Netherlands. And on the 18th of July, we play at the Sun and Thunder Festival in Fuengirola in Spain. It's always nice to go to Spain, but the sun scares me in Spain.
I love Spain.
I love it too, but god damn that weather in southern Spain. I mean,
just wear your cowboy hat.
I shall have to, and a thick layer of sunscreen. I should, like in Texas, I should become nocturnal if I were to live there. That is about everything. I was hoping we would have some more festivals to announce at this time. We have them, but they are not announceable yet. So hopefully, before too long, maybe on Cheercast 40, we shall announce more shows and festivals for you. We do have some questions from our patrons on Patreon. And 3 questions from Sandra. First question is, How do you feel right after a show? Completely exhausted and ready to snooze off, or so hyped up that it's hard to calm down? What's the best way to wind down? Grand Theft Auto, chamomile tea, or destroy a hotel room?
Grand Theft
In
Auto, definitely.
In that order.
First, some violent Grand Theft Auto, along with a cup of chamomile tea, and then just wreck the heck out of that hotel room.
I actually know the answer to this one.
Go ahead.
And it's very, very simple. A nice warm shower.
Actually,
It's the fucking best.
that's true.
And they're not always available. So when they are, it's the best thing in the world.
And just relaxing with a cup of coffee and maybe some. The PlayStation was actually quite nice to wind down on.
Yes, it was.
Even if I'm
Gunnar,
not
he
a
likes to
gamer.
go.
You've become one on the last tour.
Yeah. Very bad.
Every time Gunnar gets off stage, he says, I'm going to the bus.
Well,
That is true. I prefer to stay at the bus. That's like even when we arrive at places, I usually prefer just staying at the bus. I don't know why.
well, when you are a headliner, you kind of have the bus to yourself, and that's a nice feeling.
Yeah. So
I guess, Thaddeus, the drummer, is the most riled up person after the show because your performance is the most physically demanding, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually almost all the time after a show, especially when the show, when it had great energy, if the crowd was responding well, then I'm usually quite hyped, and it's not always easy to wind down. So have a beer or two afterwards is nice. Shower, always nice, but rare.
yeah,
It's funny. It's funny. It's funny that I mean it's easier to get free booze after each show than getting a shower.
Yeah.
So
Well, technically, on these two tours, we were lucky. There was showers almost every day.
yeah. No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying as you mentioned before. It's not always easy to have or to get the possibility to have a shower afterwards. So, yeah.
I think it depends to a large degree how the show went, how you feel after the show, or at least how I feel. It does happen, but it's more and more rare for us that we have technical issues or performance issues. I would say for the last 2 or 3 tours, for the most part, it's been going spectacularly well. And I come off stage feeling absolutely elated. And I didn't used to be a gamer. I am one now, but I don't play Grand Theft Auto. I play Skyrim at home. Chamomile tea, I'd rather gurgle my own urine. I'm not a destructive person, so I don't... I've never been into this destroying property of anyone else or even my own. So I've seen people destroy backstage venues for specific reasons, and mostly it's I wouldn't do it.
I'm not going to mention any names, but on some tours, we had some guys who thought it was a brilliant idea to smash the smoke sensor in the hotel room and la la la, and they were all rock and roll about it until we got a bill for the goddamn thing. And it was not that so much rock and roll anymore. You have to pay for that shit. So.
I like a shower after show, but mostly I shower before the show because I run in the morning. So 2 showers a day. I do that from time to time, but sometimes I just go almost straight to bed, stinky and smelly and all. and
You are disgusting.
I am, but you would be surprised how disgusting things get on tour.
Come on, he reeks of success in the morning.
Oh, success, yes.
Actually, on the European tour, it didn't get that disgusting. Everyone was showering pretty regularly, and the bus was quite clean,
Yeah,
spacious.
yeah.
It felt kind of luxurious.
It was
Luxurious.
the cleanest and most luxurious bus I think we've had so far.
Yeah.
I think so too, yeah.
You know what? Fun thing. Like last night, I was riding the bike to
Bike?
bicycle. Sorry, to the grocery stores, and in Odense, this part it's dead in the evening. No one's here, and then suddenly a Peter Street bus drives by. That's like what? I've never seen one outside of the door in my life.
Did you think you were going to go on tour?
Really?
I've seen one too
I wonder
in Budapest 1 or 2 weeks ago. I was just waiting for someone, and then like, oh, beat the street, and I was like instinctively, I was like, oh, should I wave? Maybe the guys are in there, or
yeah. I got a weird feeling too. It's like, oh, that's my home.
Yeah.
Like,
Strange. It's like a stranded alien on a planet seeing a spaceship go by.
Take me with you, please.
and it just added to like this weirdness from. It's just basically dead in the evening, this part of Odense. There's no cars, there's no people, and it's quite dark too. And then just this bus and me on my bicycle. It was quite fun.
Sandra's
And
second
they
question
didn't even
is,
have a clue whom they passed by.
Yes. If they only knew.
If they only knew.
They knew. They just drove faster.
Sandra has a question. What do you do if you can't think of your next line to sing or play? Do you improvise until you get to a part you remember? Does this throw off the other band members? Any funny stories?
I have to say, because I now me and Harry do a lot of the singing, and boy, sometimes you get lost in the lyrics, and well, you can't stop singing. So I just blabber something along, and I've heard Harry done the same thing. I'm just woohoo, something out there,
Yeah, not even words, just mumble, and most people will go along with it.
And actually, it's the same thing on the instruments, that when you make a mistake, you just play something until you find your way back somehow. And it can be anything. So, but unfortunately, that doesn't happen that much anymore. But so
Yeah.
I don't.
And also, it's a good strategy to just believe in your muscle memory. It's like you sometimes, of course, rarely nowadays, but sometimes still like you freeze for a moment. It's like, what the hell is coming here? And then when I was younger, of course, I totally froze and panicked and didn't know what to do. But now I'm just like, oh, my brain doesn't know, but my muscles will. So I'm just like, yeah, do your thing. And then, this is here. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
It's amazing.
yeah.
It's amazing how you feel like there's no way I will remember this, and then when you get to the part, it just flows like.
The worst thing I can do for myself is, for some weird reason, sometimes I think, how the hell was the next piece? If I start thinking like that, I will do it wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're not, when you're playing, a piece, you're not thinking about it. You just play it.
Yeah.
As you say, muscle memory. So sometimes you just have to say, like you said, just leave it up to whatever the finger's gonna do. And usually you hit straight on.
I remember one certain moment. Of course, this was at our very first show together in 2016, and I had to learn a buttload of songs, and of course I got confused with some of them. So I mean, whoever saw us that night, they were in for a treat. But there was one song. It was "Shadow of the Swastika," and I was supposed to press start on the metronome and everything, but I have no clue how this song starts. and you just need the cue. You just need a cue, and then it comes back. It's like, there it is.
Yeah.
But it didn't come. So I had to call Hera over. Hera, start humming the first notes. And he goes, what? I can't hear you. Start humming the first notes of the song. And he's like, da da da. Okay, got it. That's all you need sometimes. And but really, I would still sit there if you hadn't tell me the first notes back then.
It's weird how there's like a wall that just says, well, you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it. As for mistakes on stage, it depends on who does it and when. Like if there's just one instrument playing, and that person makes a mistake, it can easily throw everyone off. But if everyone's playing at the same time, it takes a pretty hefty mistake to throw anyone off. Maybe the drums are an exception. If the drummer makes a serious mistake, that might easily throw everyone off at any point. Yeah. But if either guitar makes a mistake, I don't think the other guys even notice, or the bass.
Well, we do notice, really. So it's not that,
Yeah. It doesn't throw anyone off.
No,
as long as the drums are straight and.
Drums are actually the worst. That must be the hardest task to have, actually.
Yeah.
Because when you start flailing about on the drums, you're screwed. I remember on some occasion where we were just not with other drummers we've been through, and where we just had our tongues straight in our mouth and just thought, fuck, keep the beat, come on.
Yeah.
And
I've been there and done that too.
As for lyrics, when I forget them, I'm really happy when it happens in a Faroese song and we're playing outside the Faroes, because I can say anything, no one will be any wiser. But it does happen that I mumble through a verse or two in English, like not with words but with gibberish, until I get back to it. I would say these kind of mistakes are very rare nowadays. The longer you stay on tour, the more you play the same songs, and the fewer mistakes you make.
Yeah.
I think is the trend.
Yeah.
And at the end of the second tour in America, you played the songs, you feel like you played them one time too many, and even playing them perfectly can drive you a little bit up the wall. It's a strange feeling. Anyway, enough about that. Sandra's last question is, do you ever get a persistent hiccup or sneeze on stage? How do you deal with this, especially as a singer? A cramp in your hands and legs while playing, an itch that won't stop? Or do you have too much adrenaline to even care? It's very rare that I sneeze or cough on stage, I would say. The most annoying thing is really getting the hair into my mouth.
And swallowing it.
Yeah, not just into your mouth. You can inhale it all the way into your lungs, and you can feel the tips of your hair tickling the inside of your lungs. And you can't do anything because your hands are stuck playing a solo and you're singing. So
And
I
you're
use
gagging.
exactly. So I use incredible amounts of hairspray to keep my hair straight while I'm playing. But then, even then, occasionally
What?
it does happen, and you get the hairspray into your lungs. That is the worst.
Horrible.
But
Actually,
yeah.
I found out with my body or face that if I'm a little bit unshaved, the hairs tend to get stuck here. So I always make sure I have a
Velcro face.
I'm freshly shaved before I go on stage because they actually slide off. So that's one thing I discovered. But I have tried to sing with hair down my throat, and it's almost practically impossible because
Horrible.
all you want to do is just gag.
Yes.
Yeah. Your hair is much longer and thicker than mine, so it hangs more heavy naturally. Mine is very thin and light and flimsy, so it just flies about and into my eyes, in my nose, into my mouth, and hairspray. Or short hair. Maybe I'll shave it off.
I remember on earlier years, I used to get a lot of hair in my mouth. But nowadays, if I get hair in my mouth, I really just spit really hard. And I do it until it's gone. And I just don't give a shit, you know. So just to get it out there. So it works.
In the last couple of years, I had shorter hair than ever before because for almost decades I had hair down to my ass.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was the ass that grew up to here or the hair.
No, my forehead is growing now back to my ass. No, but actually, so my hair is getting longer now again, and that's when the problem starts because for one, I'm inhaling my hair as well, which is very annoying. Even when I'm not singing, I mean, I have to breathe it somehow. But anyways, but the other thing is with the long hair is that sometimes, especially when it's already sweaty and all entangled with each other, it gets stuck. My drumstick gets stuck in it, and it's like. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That sometimes happens, but.
And you can only be angry with yourself, huh?
Yeah.
Damn it.
We once had a nightmare situation. I went up behind the drum riser in like one song, and you throw your hair back, and it lands on my headstock, and it's just stuck in all the tuning bass.
Yes.
I'm like, fuck! Just trying to hold it up.
And I was playing like this, and you were playing like this. Exactly.
Oh god, that was good.
But I think as for sneezing and all that kind of stuff, I mean, we on this tour we were in America. Most of us got sick also on the tour. When we're off stage, we're coughing a lot. I think the adrenaline takes over, and I feel like coughing. Sometimes I usually just turn around and get the coughing over with, but never try to have a real bad cough attack on stage or sneeze attack for that matter.
I remember. Yeah.
Another thing is with the hiccuping is that I try to not eat anything in the 3 hours before show time, because that definitely causes burps and hiccups, and also not drink anything during the show. And drink a lot of water, like say up until half an hour before the show, and then just stop drinking water unless we have a really long show. It's not always possible to get through a 1.5 hour show without drinking. But if I can avoid it, I'd rather avoid drinking anything, and that reduces hiccups and burps.
And here comes a fun fact of touring, because The worst thing you can do before going on stage is eating. That's horrible because you try to sing, you burp, and you all the time. And what do the catering do, or whoever ordered the food? They always order the food 1 hour before you go on stage.
Yeah.
And
It's very common.
and the problem is, if you don't eat it then, very likely when you get off stage, there's no food left. So, but you could take it aside, of course, and heat it in a microwave or something like that. But that is. But you were saying, Thaddeus?
Oh yeah, no. I just wanted to say one short story from years ago. I was on tour in Poland, and I got really sick. I mean, it had to be some kind of virus. I had high fever, and really was shaking and feeling like very, very heavily under the weather. But of course, we didn't want to cancel the show, so I went up there, and as soon as we started, the illness was gone for that 1 hour or 70 minutes, whatever. And afterwards, it got way worse. So the adrenaline actually, or your brain, your body actually says, okay, this is now a very important situation. We're gonna blend it out. But afterwards, because you need a lot of energy to do that, it comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have puked on stage, actually twice, but I didn't choose to do it on the stage. I have the wireless system, and I did it in a bucket while playing.
You're so civilized.
Both time were in the US, and both time it was food poisoning.
Oh yeah.
And one of them I actually puked on stage, but I spit it away from everyone. So it's nasty.
Nasty.
There is a famous concert by Metallica where James walks up to the front of the stage right before people and throws up, and then he walks back to the microphone and sings. And that was probably from drinking, not food poisoning.
Yeah.
He probably drank up to here.
I was once in the jury for a band Battle of the Bands kind of thing, kind of competition here in Hungary, and the competition itself started at 10 a.m. or so, and but most of the bands, of course, arrived in the city the day before, and there was one band, or I guess many of the bands went out drinking the night before. But then the first band, who had to start at 10 a.m., turned out that they were hungover as, I mean, they looked like shit. They were really in desperate circumstances. And the singer, he actually just he sang the first verse of the first song, then ran to the side of the stage, vomited, but like a projectile, like.
Yeah.
violently ran back to the microphone to sing the chorus, aced that. I mean, they were all playing really well, and he was absolutely singing marvelously. Then came verse 2, then again to the side, vomiting and coming back and singing flawlessly. I mean, that was really, really something to witness. They actually became quite big, that band in the end.
Oh.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Next question comes from Kathy. She says, at the beginning of your live show in Tampa, you played a snippet of recorded music and then you bash into live music. Did you choose By the Sword in My Hand because it has such a dramatic entrance? The sequence of the set list, well, maybe I should mention first that that intro is composed by our dear friend in Iceland, Haraldur Svæbjörnsson, the arranger, and I asked him to compose something that leads directly into by the Sword in My Hand, and you can hear if you listen to that piece of music that it has pieces of By the Sword in My Hand and fits perfectly into the song. When we put up the set list, it's best to start with something fairly recognizable and not try and push your new album from the beginning. So, and it probably shouldn't be Hold the Heat and Hammer High. I guess people like to hear that at the end or close to the end. So you take like the second or third most popular song, and our second most requested song is By the Sword in My Hand, and that's the reason for that. We'll probably vary that over the next few tours and years. But it does have a dramatic entrance, and it's instantly recognizable. And this whole intro thingy has worked quite well since we started using it.
It's all on old tapes.
Cassette. I have it in my pocket. Yeah, I don't have the cover for it anymore. I just put the cassette itself in my pocket, and then I wind it onto the spool with a pencil before we start. Second question from Kathy, totally off the music scene. Do any of you follow sports? If so, who? Gunnar, tell us your favorite sports team.
I hate sports, all sports. So that
Good.
should be something that I would not miss it if it got lost in history or something of the planet. It would be fantastic to actually alleviate the planet of sports. But that's just my opinion.
That's a ridiculous
Hans?
opinion.
Your sports.
No, I really haven't watched much sports really since I got into music at 15. But I like to watch the World Cup when that is happening, football. And a match every now and then.
Okay, you mentioned...
But to say I'm a crazy sports fan, no, not really. I was as a kid, really. Like, that was all I was using my spare time on, but...
Football?
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would go with football also if it's nations against nations. That I can look at that, but still, come on. Yeah.
Adios.
Yeah, now that Hans mentioned it, I think I more or less stopped watching sports when I got into music as well. But I mean, I've never been into Formula One or football at all. But I like to watch basketball, and I was actually playing basketball as well. And my favorite teams were Chicago Bulls and Houston Rockets, I think. But yeah, I was 13, 14 maybe, and after that.
You also mentioned something funny. You said Formula One and stuff like that. And that, for some reason, falls into sport as well. So I would wonder what sport actually means. Because I don't see a Formula One as a sport.
Have you ever tried the little go-kart races that you can?
Yes, I tried it.
That is not for the. I mean, you get extraordinarily tired.
That is fun. That is so fun.
It's fun, but it's definitely a sport.
Well, what do you define sport as?
Even chess is a sport, but so it's hard to define a sport precisely. I agree with that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Let's ask ChatGPT.
I also agree with Hans that your opinion on sports is ridiculous, but be that as it may.
That's okay. Because come on, everyone in the world loves sports. I just really hate it. But I think it's interesting because I used to dive a lot, and they call it to being a sports diver, which I I don't see why would you call it that? Because it has nothing to do with sports. As I see it, you just go and dive. It's like if I
guys,
went out for a walk every day, would I be a sports walker?
Gunnar, I'll tell you exactly what a sport is now. It's a physical effort or skill, competition or scoring system, rules and guidelines, participants and teams.
Then
now shut up.
No, that still leaves the sports diver. It's not. It's physical.
I understand what you mean, Gunnar. It can be difficult to see the sport in specific activities. I used to row a lot, and I was, and the time I was rowing in Faroese competition rowing, I was very preoccupied with the results of the events. Also, some years after I stopped rowing, but now I would say I'm not really that much into it anymore. I do go to see it occasionally. I wish I could still be rowing, but professional musician, rock star, and all that doesn't go well with seasonal sports. I don't really keep up with much sports. A bit like Gunnar, I would say. If the national team is playing, I will watch it. And regardless of the fact that it's football or not, it's always impressive, I think, to see top level athletes doing what very few humans are capable of. So yeah, not a sports freak anymore, I would say. Although I do enjoy my running and occasional weightlifting.
I live right by the sports arena. The football.
Mivauer Arena,
Yeah.
Stadium.
Yeah.
The football place here, and there's activity, I think, every single day here down there at the football field. So I've seen it. I see it all the time, and I don't get it.
All right.
Yeah.
Jim Powers has a question. Although we've seen 5 shows over the last year, it wasn't until the Tampa show in February that I realized there are no amps on stage, which prompts several questions. Are you using an amp modeler? If so, what brand and model? Are you also using them to record in studio?
These are very, I have to say, this is amazing. They are, it's see-through amp. They are there, but you can't see them. It's amazing.
Please ignore the bass player.
So I can take the bass is pre-recorded, so we take the bass from the studio recordings.
It is.
We have a laptop through which we play, we have a Logic Pro running on the laptop, and in there we have the plugins for the guitar sound. We use what's it called, Hans? I forget.
We are using amp simulators.
The brand of it.
Oh, the brand. Neural DSP.
Exactly, for both bass and guitar. And this is for, we used to travel with big amp simulation, before that with big amps, and this is just to make touring feasible that we've cut down everything in size as much as possible. And one of the things has been to get all the sound production on one laptop. It's not the same as an amp. I find it more reliable, more workable, easier to deal with. But it's a bit strange. Once you get used to it, you see the advantages. But as a listener, I can see that you might want some of that sound off stage, but we simply can't travel with that.
It's basically there to make it even better for the sound engineer to make a better sound, because he's not disturbed from
it gets much cleaner.
Exactly, it's definitely better for the sound that comes out the front, because the fewer speakers you have on stage roaring into all the microphones, the better sound you'll get in the front.
And amazingly enough, we still have issues that we kind of covered with. There's like a limiter. I don't know if you call it that on the microphones. So they actually only open when we.
Yeah.
So when we're in the proximity of the microphone, it opens, and that's for drum bleed.
Yeah.
So, and that can still cause some issues every now and then. So,
as for studio, I think Jacob has used proper amps for our sound up until the last album, at least.
But you definitely can use those on, and they are being used by big artists today.
Yeah,
so,
it's gotten to the level now.
So it's basically at this point it's basically just preference. Like some people prefer to work with absinthe all the time because it's way more convenient.
And
easier
they
to
sound
recall.
Really, really good. I mean, these plugins, it's amazing.
Yeah, I would say they sound by and large better than tube amps, because the tubes change just by turning it off and on again. You get a slightly different sound, and also the older they get, the less power they have.
Just to travel also. Banging about in the buses and whatever.
Exactly. This digital stuff is much more durable, reliable, and, like I've said many times, easier to travel with.
Yeah, you get the same sound every time with this. You know exactly what you're getting, because a lot of things will affect a real amp. So the room will affect it, the exact mic placement, and all these factors that come into play every day.
Anyway, Matt Frank, would you believe it, has 3 questions for us this time. Our dear old friend. His first question is there a musical act still active you want to see and have not seen? Not a concert where you also have to perform. Yeah.
There's plenty.
I can't think of one right now. I haven't seen Def Leppard. I haven't seen TNT. I haven't seen... those are the bands I really want to see for the time being, that I haven't seen or played with.
There's Black Sabbath. I haven't seen Black Sabbath, or even Tony by himself, and Geezer Butler and all those great guys. I mean, there's plenty yet of bands I would love to see. So I was fortunate enough to see Def Leppard, so that was cool.
Believe it or not, I haven't seen Metallica yet. So that's
What?
So that's definitely something I want to do. Is Twisted Sister still a thing, or is it just the singer?
I think they are, yes.
Yeah, them too.
They are awesome live.
I believe that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amazing. They even played in the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
One of the best shows I've ever seen.
So there's quite a few, I guess. What about you, Hans?
Yeah, I just can't think of any, because the main bands I really wanted to see were Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Megadeth. And those guys I've seen, and since then I've seen a lot of bands. There's not a band I think left that I really, really wanted to see, but if the opportunity came, probably would go.
I saw Saga live as the original lineup. That was cool. And I've seen Rainbow live. It was in 92 or something like that. I can't think of anyone I want to see now. Really.
I would love to see a lot of bands again.
Yeah. Megadeth would be nice to see again. Judas Priest.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm actually going to Megadeth in September
Nice.
or something like that. In
Maiden
Copenhagen.
are back on tour. Are gonna be back on tour soon. So that's gonna.
I want to see that actually with the new drummer.
That would be nice, yeah.
Oh right, of course, the new drummer. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would love to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
why not? I'm sure that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sabbath.
Matt Frank has a different question.
Yeah.
If you were done talking about Sabbath, Gunnar.
He has to wait with that question.
Wait, Matt.
No, I'm done.
Gunnar on Sabbath. How long has it been since any of you had short hair? I think I was 15. Or maybe last time I had short hair.
I had short hair in year 2000.
I had short hair in year 2010.
And I had short hair the last time in 1996.
1 year after I was born.
Yeah, let me count the year. That makes it 73, 83, 88 last time I had short hair.
Old geezer!
7 years before I was born.
Long before. Matt Frank's last question, and the last question of this Tiercast. Since becoming public figures, what's the strangest rumor or story you've heard about yourself?
I can tell you.
Let's hear it.
Here, everybody think I'm raving rich.
You are?
I don't have a dime. So, next. Oh, and apparently everybody always here in the Faroes, they always ask me, didn't you used to play in Tyr? What? So, I think that's the strange I got. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
Hedda?
I can't think of a thing actually. I don't think that there might be rumors going around, but they don't come to me. I think people are probably. I don't know. No, I really haven't heard anything really.
Well,
far
let
out
me
about
fill you in
myself
on that.
that I thought, where the hell did that come from? I really can't think of a thing.
Well, I mean, it's not strange because we kind of got used to it during the years, but the worst thing I heard about myself is that apparently I killed 300 whales by myself. That was in Germany. Yeah, so no, I'm a vegetarian since 1988 and never killed a mammal ever with my hands or other things. Neither did anybody in the band, but no.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. That's I guess that goes together with becoming a public figure, right?
I guess.
Whale murderer. Hans, you want to skip this, or you want to let us in on your dirty secrets?
I don't see myself as a public figure.
Well, you are to Matt Frank.
I don't think I don't think so. I definitely haven't heard any rumors, except that I'm arrogant, according to Gunnar. That's what he heard from kids.
Yeah, I actually heard, but we figured that story out why that actually happened. But let's leave that.
Yeah,
Yes,
I completely forgot the whole whaling issue, but of course there are many stories circulating that they're deliberately fabricated. So it's not something anyone actually believes. It's some money scheme more than anything else.
Yep.
So I would say we've gotten off pretty good with being public figures. I mean, I can't say I feel a great pressure.
Oh, try living in the Faroes. Nobody gives a damn, really. So that's.
I would say,
cool.
yeah. People are pretty down to earth.
Except from they think we are rich, which I don't get.
Filthy, stinking rich.
Yeah. I wish I would buy a new car.
That would be nice, yes.
So,
That
Let's
should
get rich.
conclude.
on that note,
Yeah. That concludes today's questions. Thanks for keeping them coming, and thanks to those people for supporting us on Patreon. Now, unless you gentlemen have more to add to this wonderful adventure of ours, I shall go to the exit notes.
I would just like to mention that we are working on the new album, and it will be out before. Well, let's not
Put
say
a deadline
before.
on this. I dare you, Gunnar. Let's have the deadline.
Next year, it will be out.
Gunnar said 2026 is the release year of Tour's
definitely.
10th album. Gunnar said it.
So there you go, boys and girls.
It will be finished. It will be recorded, like the recordings will be completed by December the 31st.
Guys, let's go. We have to write a fucking album.
Oh yeah. Shoot.
Gotta hang up soon. All right. Please, everyone, hit the thumbs up on this video. And you can find us on Instagram at tier_official. You find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Threads as Tier Band. On bandsintown.com/tier, you can track us so that you don't miss a show when we play in your vicinity. You even find us on TikTok as @tierpharaoh. Not sure what that's for, but it's there. Please listen to your favorite streaming platform. Please listen to our music on your favorite streaming platform. You can listen to other bands' music. We are not really that bothered with it, but mostly listen to Tier.
Mostly.
Right here on YouTube or on your favorite streaming platform. On tier.fo, you can buy our CDs, LPs, merch, and you can sign up for the newsletter. Also, an excellent method of staying up to scratch on what's happening on the Tier front. On patreon.com/tierband, you can put questions to us that we will answer in Tiercast episodes like this one. Now, thank you, and we hope to have you back here for Tiercast 40, whenever that is. In the meantime, take good care of yourself, and see you then.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.